This, my friends, is a BOC or a bug out container. Some people call it a bug out kit. Some people call it an emergency grab and go box. Some people call it a truck box and leave it in their vehicles at all times. Some leave it by their front doors and some leave it where they can grab it at any time in the event that they do have to bug out. Now, I'm not saying bugging out is my first option because it's definitely not. I'd rather lock the doors and ride it out with my family if something does happen. But in the event that you do have to leave and you have no other choices, it's nice to have something on a grander scale than a bug out bag if you have a mode of transportation to carry it with you. So I always carry this next to my door. Sometimes if I go somewhere, it's in the back of my truck. But it does have plenty of options for me if something does happen. I can carry more tools inside of this, more food inside of this, and everything is organized. That way I don't have to be rushing for it around the house if I do have to leave. Because God forbid you do have to leave, you just don't want your bug out bag if you can help it. More is better. So let me open this up. I'll show you guys what I have inside, and we can go over every little thing, and I'll give you my ideas. And hopefully you guys, if you want to design one for you or your family, you get ideas from this video. And also leave comments down below of what you carry, because I'd love to know, and I'm sure other people get ideas from it. So let's go ahead and do this. The very first thing we need to talk about when building a BOC is definitely the container you choose. Stay away from stuff like Rubbermaid if you can help it, because if you drop them, they might break. And if they break, you lose all hope of carrying this stuff to the vehicle in a fast fashion. Or if it breaks while you're in the vehicle, you might lose some of your food, stuff might rip open, and there was no point to you building it. So definitely choose a container with a lot of structural strength that you don't have to worry about if it gets dropped or pushed around or slid around in the back of your vehicle, because you don't want to have that problem. The container I chose was from Walmart. It's a Green Horizon container. I know it's a fancy container. I think I paid 30 bucks for it. But the important thing about this container is it does have structural strength. You can see the reinforcements here on the edges, which is very important. I can push on the sides and it won't bow in. That means it can hold weight. I've dropped this before. Nothing ill has happened because of it. It does have the ability to be locked up, which is very important. I know locks are for honest people, but sometimes seeing a lock is enough of a deterrent. And especially on boxes like this, a lot of people think it just contains like chains or tools or stuff. No one will really suspect food from the outside of the container. One other suggestion I would make is if you don't want to go that route, if you don't want to pay the money, sometimes you can go to yard sales and pick up old coolers. Old coolers are excellent for this because you can actually have insulation inside your container. They're made to hold a lot of weight, they won't bow, and you can fill them up with water because they're watertight. So definitely make sure you pick the right container for you. Let's talk about the inside now. One important tip about building a BOC is to remember you're your own person. You have your own family, you live in your own area. Stuff I have in my BOC may not apply to you. You might not like the stuff I put in my BOC. So choose stuff that you will eat, that your family will eat. Choose tools you know how to use. Choose things that you like to use, and make sure it's built for you. Here are a few more really important tips that might save you or your family's lives in building a BOC, or that you might find very useful. Make sure everything on the inside of the container is waterproofed in some way, whether it be your clothing, your food, your fuel, your tools. You do not want rust to ruin your tools. You do not want stuff to spoil because of your food spilling onto other stuff. You do not want mold or mildew accumulating on the inside of the box. In the event something was to happen, that might just save your life. You never know about that. Another tip, do not carry water inside the box. You can carry containers to carry water, just don't carry water. Stuff like temperature might change the direction of how stuff is orientated inside the box, because maybe a container might expand with heat. It might shrink or pop open because of the cold. You just never know. So carry it in an external container outside the box. That might save your life. You never know it. Another tip, do not carry unnecessary items in here. I know we all want to take the photo album with us. Maybe take one picture with you to keep you going. But filling half of this thing up with stuff you might not need to save your life might stop you from saving yours. So let's keep that stuff in mind. Now let me go ahead. I'm going to go through this one by one and just show you what I have. That way you guys can get an idea of what I take with me. I'm going to go through this rather quickly, one by one, just to show you what I have. That way you guys can get an idea of what to put in yours if you haven't built one already. But remember, this is built for me and my family, so it might be completely different than yours. That doesn't mean mine's better or worse. It just means that it's built for me. So keep that in mind. And remember, I'm constantly rotating this out. I've got new supplies in here all the time. I want to make sure that everything's current. I want to make sure that nothing has gone bad on the inside of here. And I want stuff that works, and maybe I'll find stuff that's better later on down the road. Anyway, let's go. First of all, you'll notice the Mountain House Mountain Oven, which I did a review on. It's very useful to me. I've got some rice in here. It does have the date on it. Remember to put dates on your food. Those were Mylarked by me and my friend. And they do have oxygen absorbers inside them. I've got some oatmeal inside here, which we like. I've got some hard red wheat, which is very good. I've got some chicken here. It's canned up. I do want to find a better way to put meat inside this kit. Got a first aid kit by Adventure Medical Kits. I've got some cooking pots and some cooking utensils inside there. Sunflower seeds because we like them. I've got some cleaning supplies, some sanitation, some hygiene items inside this little bag. We've got some mixed drinks, some Kool-Aid because sometimes the water does get boring. We've got a flare gun just in case because you never know. We do have some more flares and stuff like that we might need. Some emergency beacons and lights for signaling. We have a multi-tool, and I know that's not bagged up, and it should be. We've got some medication. We've got some tools covered with paracord. Got a K-bar. Got some fire making capabilities with some teacup lights here, and some matches. More oatmeal. Remember, calories, calories, and more calories. That's what you need. More rice. We've got some more oatmeal here. I did have barley in here, but I used it for some food at a large dinner, which I need to replace. Some more rice. More rice. Calories, calories, calories. Seasoning. I've got some cocoa wheats here. Some white sugar. We've got some Lipton iced tea here. We've got some wet food for the animals. Just because they like it, it keeps them going, and it's high calorie for what it is. The reason we don't have dry wet food in here, dry wet food, I mean dry cat food or dog food or stuff like that, is because the fat content on the inside causes them to go rancid faster. I got some iodized salt. We've got some garlic salt and parsley. We've got some garlic salt and parsley again. More salt, which is very important. Remember, salt is one of the most important spices in history. Here's some sugar. Like I was saying, wars have been fought over spices. It's just a fact. More salt. You can always use it. White sugar. You can use these to cook with the hard red wheat and make bread or stuff like that that's high calorie. More white sugar. Some more cocoa wheats because I like them. And we've got more cocoa wheats. Some oregano, which I like to cook with and it makes rice taste better. Got a pen and then a glow stick. Then you can see the bottom of the container there. I hope that gave you some ideas. Remember, I'm constantly updating this. I will be rotating out a lot of food. As you notice, I did have dates marked on all of them. That's very important. A lot of you might notice I didn't have a firearm in there. That's because it's in my bug out bag. I didn't have water purification in there because it's in my bug out bag. Anyway, guys, so rate, comment, subscribe. Remember to write down in the comments what you guys thought. Add your own tips and tricks. I'll talk to you guys later.